Hello peeps, I am back with another video, and this video is about chewing gums. I am joking. It's actually just to compare the chewing gum to actually the muscles. So what this video is about stretching effect on performance and just stretching in general basically. So I wanted to explain to you, as we think stretching is something really important, and it should be part of our routine, but we do that for warm-up, do that for cool down, do that for prevent injuries, do that to when we are injured to recover, do that to prior to competitions and all sorts. But is there actually a bad effect of stretching? Is there a way that can be a little bit more effective? Does stretching by itself works to prevent us from injuries, or it can actually have a bad effect on performance when not doing it in the right way, right direction? This is why I brought this chewing gum. Okay, so before I go and jump into this, and you will know why am I actually bringing this chewing gum here, let me explain the stretches. So static stretches are those stretches that we just hold for a certain period of time. Normally recommended to hold it for 1 minute or about for maximum effect. And these are the stretches. So if I cross my hand and I just hold, right? Hold. And that can be same with the hamstring, the 90-degree when you raise your leg up. So these are the static stretches. Dynamic stretches are the dynamic movement where you actually not holding a stretch, but you moving around. Okay, so like a leg swing, lunge with rotation, squat to overhead reach. Now that we know what is the difference between static and dynamic stretches, here it is. This is what I wanted to show to you. Why is warm-up so important? So imagine this is a muscle. So this chewing gum is a muscle. Now, if I want to go and put this muscle under a heavy load, then it is more prone to snap, because it's hard. So it's not formed up, not flexible, and it is like a muscle. It's pretty dense because it's not warm. And this is a great way to really show that warm-up is important to get your muscles ready for the workout ahead, for a heavier load. Now, I'm gonna show you a quite disgusting example. Trying to chew it. What happens to the muscle when you warm it up? For example, good ramp warm-up. Ramp warm-up is raise, activate, mobilize, and potentiate. That means you're getting ready the muscles to be more flexible, to be ready for the load. And how they react? You're gonna be able to basically make that muscle a little bit more flexible. It's like a chewing gum. So now I have a more flexible muscle to work with that doesn't snap under a load. This is where I wanted to come with the chewing gum. I mentioned to you this ramp warm-up. So ramp is raise. That means you raise the heart rate and the breathing. High knees, dynamic moves, jumping jacks, treadmill, bike. On a scale of 10, where 10 is your maximum fatigue, that you fall off and you pass out, you don't want that. One is that you just sit in front of a telly not doing anything. You don't want either of them. You want 5 to 6. Want to be on that scale somewhere in between. That means raising your breathing and the heart rate up to get more blood supply. Okay, raise. Activate. Me personally like activating with resistance bands. resistance bands like for example, glute activation, depending what muscle groups you're going to use ahead on your training, you need to kind of use the same muscle groups and prepare those muscles for the workout ahead. So activation, for glute activation, you could do hip thrusters, but bridges with adduction, pushing the knees outwards, activating the gluteus medius. Now, I am really massive fan of dynamic stretches. And as I mentioned to you, dynamic stretches are those that you don't hold, but moving around. And here in this video, I'm going to show you a few of them. And you can complete this as part of your warm-up instead of static stretches. But I'm gonna come to that research again. Activation with bands, but you could do thrusters, you can do mobility work with weight, like do 10 seconds down to a squat, hold for 5, come 10 seconds back up, or use resistance bands, lateral walks, put the band around your ankles and walk laterally one side to another, maintaining a nice neutral spine position and like a halfway down squat base, more of an upper squat than a lower squat. So activation, mobilized. Mobility, it is different to flexibility. You need to mobilize the joints. For example, if you want to complete a mobility drill, it's like with the resistance band, mobilizing the joint capsule is you go into that half kneeling position, pushing that hip slightly forward by keeping the neutral spine position and wrapping the band from coming from behind with the resistance. Now this is a really good mobility drill, ankle mobility drill. If you struggle, like when you squat, that will make a huge difference in your squat if you are restricted in ankle mobility. But you can mobilize the thoracic spine as well. These are not stretches, these are mobility drills. Okay, and potentiate, basically up the intensity. So by the time you want to get to your heaviest load and the load you're working with, you want to up that intensity gradually and be ready. So if you, for example, do like 3 sets of the squats and working up with the load towards that load, that basically you're gonna work with a heavier one. So this is all about the ramp warm-up I would recommend you to do. And I came to you to start dynamic stretches. So there is a research shows that static stretches, let me show you here on the screen. So the latest studies has shown that static stretches has a bad effect and actually reduces power output of the muscles prior to workout if they have been done and had for longer than 60 seconds. So apparently there, if you can see, under 60 seconds per muscle group, trivially impairs subsequent strength and power activities. Duration more than 60 seconds per muscle group appear to induce substantial and particularly relevant declines in strength and power performance. That means, okay, the studies that I know, that any stretch had longer than 30 seconds prior to a training session with reduces strength and power performance, so reduces the power output of the muscles. That means if you have a look, none of the Olympic athletes are holding a static stretch and standing there and stretching. They're kind of moving around, they're doing dynamic movements, which, as you can see on this study here on nih.gov, that those stretches that are not had for that long period of time can have a great effect on injury prevention, great effect on sport activities, and actually the power output on the muscle. But anything had longer than 60 seconds, and in my professional opinion, longer than 30 seconds, have a bad effect. That means, have a look here what I'm doing. These are great prior to like any lifting sessions. They are not hard stretches. Here we go, the video. So basically I'm doing squat with overhead reach. There we go. So you could do around like 15 to 20 reps on that one. Then I'm going to move on to the lunge with the rotation. As you can do, see that they are dynamic movement. I mobilize with them. I'm really getting my muscles ready, warming them up like the chewing gum. And here we go, leg swings right to the left. Amazing before like a squat. So dynamic movement loads better. Don't hold the stretch if you don't want to reduce power output. There we go. And I'm crossing that shoulder. I'm going to that quad stretch with the Supermans. So it's a dynamic move, quite similar to a static move, but it is still dynamic. So I'm moving and raising my toe, going on my tiptoes. So you could complete like 15-20 of this one, and make your muscles ready for the workout ahead. So this is what I wanted to talk about. Stretching itself is not magic. It is important. If you want to get out a long-term effect of stretching, you better to stretch every day, but use the ramp warm-up and get your muscle prepared for peak performance. Hope this was helpful, and I will see you back with another video.